I sleep so much better at night knowing there are rough men out there willing to do the kinetic work on my behalf. Back in Germany, we've got the KSK, Kommando Spezialkraft, and those guys are absolutely ruthless. But when you look across the pond, that quote isn't just something that sounds badass on a t-shirt. It's the high-stakes reality of the US Navy SEALs. These guys are absolute beasts when it comes to small team ops. They get dropped into just about any kind of zero-margin terrain your brain can conjure up, from the pitch-black ocean depths to mud-soaked jungles, from tight alleyways in the Middle East to bone-chilling, icy wastelands. Wherever the chaos is, they are forged to choke it out. But do me a favor and forget the flashy Hollywood movies. The media makes you think every SEAL is a Team 6 operator looking like a superhero. The reality is way more gritty and complex. Have you ever actually wondered what really makes up a SEAL team from the inside? How is this apex juggernaut actually structured? Stick around. Today, we're peeling back the layers and breaking this whole machine down. All right, to really get what these guys are up to, we've got to take a step back and look at it from the top down. The entire Navy SEAL apparatus falls under the Naval Special Warfare Command, or WarCom for short. Under WarCom, things get sliced up into groups, which get chopped down further into SEAL teams, and then we go even deeper into task units, platoons, and finally, squads, the guys actually out there doing the heavy lifting. Right now, there are roughly 3,000 active duty SEALs and about 200 in the reserves. Period. That's not a lot of manpower to cover the entire globe. And joining that 3,000? Not easy, man. Basic underwater demolition / SEAL training, or BUD/S, is an absolute crucible. We're talking about an insane 75 to 80% dropout rate. Most of these massive, athletic dudes either tap out because the psychological pressure breaks them, or their bodies literally crumble under the crazy high standards they face day in and day out. Let me paint a picture of Hell Week for you. It's a 5.5-day stretch where these guys get maybe 4 hours of sleep total. They are constantly shivering in the freezing Pacific surf, carrying heavy rubber boats on their raw heads, and pushing their limits past absolute failure. It's a mind game. Instructors are always hunting for any crack in their armor, pushing them to just ring the bell and quit. If you can't embrace the suck when your bones feel like lead, you tap out. It's that brutally simple. Now, let's dig into how WarCom spreads out the firepower. The main groups are 1, 2, 4, 8, and Group 11 handles the reserves. Naval Special Warfare Group 1, posted up in San Diego, California. This is basically one of the 2 heavy hitters of the Navy. They run SEAL Teams 1, 3, 5, and 7. Their primary playground? The Middle East, Korea, and the Western Pacific. Whether it's rolling up bad actors or pulling intel from places normal folks wouldn't even dare think about. Naval Special Warfare Group 2, posted up at Little Creek, Virginia. They manage Teams 2, 4, 8, and 10. Their focus is Europe, Africa, and South America. Fun fact, their Naval Special Warfare Unit 2 is stationed right in Stuttgart, Germany, my home turf. Always locked in and ready to get into the mix. Sliding over to Group 4. This is where we got to talk about how unfair the media is. While the SEALs get all the TV time and best-selling books, the guys in Group 4, the SWCCs, Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewmen, do some of the hardest work with zero glory. These guys are absolute beasts behind the wheel of tricked-out, high-speed armored boats, driving straight into red-hot sectors to drop SEALs in or pull them out of the absolute worst spots. Without SWCC, SEALs are just scuba divers sitting ducks. If you think SWCCs are just boat drivers, you're dead wrong. Naval Special Warfare Group 8, posted up in Virginia. They run the SEAL Delivery Vehicle, SDV, teams. They pilot those stealthy mini-subs that slide SEALs deep behind the line without making a single sound. Naval Special Warfare Group 11. Last, but definitely not least, they manage the Navy SEAL Reserves, Teams 17 and 18. Let's zoom in close on a standard SEAL team. A full team is roughly 300 personnel, consisting of 2 to 4 task units plus support staff. And listen, a SEAL team isn't just door kickers. They roll deep with a highly specialized support crew. We're talking about EOD techs, the explosive specialists who casually disarm rigged booby traps under high stress so the squad can keep moving. Then you've got crypto guys, cyber operators, and ISR techs flying high-tech drones. Without these guys prepping the battlefield and feeding real-time intel, the operators would be walking blind into a nightmare. It's a massive logistical symphony playing out behind the scenes before a single boot ever touches the dirt. Each task unit, about 32 to 64 operators, breaks down into 16-man platoons. But those 16 guys don't just roll out in one massive pack. Depending on the mission, they split into 2 8-man squads or 4-man fire teams. This is the tightest, most surgical unit. In an 8-man squad, here's your lineup. Team leader, the shot caller. The tactical brain. Assaulters, your close-quarters specialists, the door kickers who can clear a room in a heartbeat. They move like water, slicing the pie around corners and dominating tight angles before the dust even settles. Overwatch/long gunner. The eyes from afar, the guy with the scoped rifle who brings peace of mind to the squad. Breacher, the dude who brings the boom. Speaking of which, quick question for the tactical nerds in the comments. Why do SEAL breachers often prefer manually calculating breaching formulas for tight VBSS shipboarding ops instead of just using hydraulic cutters? The floor is yours below. Communicator, the guy hugging the radio. Without him, it's just blind chaos. Now, there is one name I haven't dropped yet. SEAL Team 6, officially known these days as DEVGRU, Naval Special Warfare Development Group. They don't fall under this regular system. They answer directly to JSOC, Joint Special Operations Command. They pull the absolute best from the regular SEAL teams to run the darkest, most zero-footprint ops that the press will never, ever hear about. Honestly, DEVGRU and the JSOC apparatus deserve their own dedicated hour-long video. If you want a deep dive into their tactics and gear, drop a request in the comments, and I'll make it happen. And there you have it, the entire US Navy SEAL tactical juggernaut laid out. From a German perspective, I have to admit their flexible macro-to-micro structure is an absolute masterpiece of military organization. But let's face an uncomfortable truth. Over the last decade, pop culture has turned SEALs into media icons. A lot of Delta Force or Marine Force Recon vets like to joke that SEALs nowadays are more like influencers with guns than quiet professionals, because they're doing way too many podcasts and writing way too many books. So, here's the question I'm throwing at you. I want your verdict. Is the current flashy fame of the Navy SEALs a well-deserved badge of honor for what they sacrifice, or is it becoming a toxic kryptonite that's chipping away at the quiet discipline of US Special Operations? Drop your verdict in the comments. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button so you don't miss the next declassified file. I'm the WarSim, and I'll see you in the trenches.